Bonjour, Peter Julian, critique en matière de sécurité publique du NPD. On vient d'entendre les histoires horrifiques de Jane et de Carla. Et je pense, pour ces raisons-là, c'est extrêmement important que le gouvernement, enfin, a déposé ce projet de loi aujourd'hui. Il faut dire que M. Trudeau a promis que ce projet de loi sera déposé dans les 100 premiers jours de son mandat. C'est maintenant plus que 800 jours. Et c'est bien qu'enfin c'est déposé, mais la réalité, c'est que, comme on sait, ça ne devrait pas tarder autant que ça, surtout que c'est le Wild Wild West, quand il s'agit de qu'est-ce qui se trouve en ligne présentement. Il y a dans le projet de loi plusieurs aspects qui sont positifs. Le fait que ça soit déposé, c'est quelque chose qu'on souhaite. L'NPD, Jagmeet Singh et l'ensemble du caucus du NPD réclament ce projet de loi depuis des mois et des mois. Alors, enfin, c'est déposé et ça, c'est un premier pas vers la vente. Aussi, le fait qu'on mette en place des mesures pour contrer les horreurs de pornographie juvénile et la pornographie d'enfants est extrêmement important. Les amendes sont larges et ça, c'est quelque chose qu'on souhaite parce que ces compagnies sont vastes, ils ont des ressources énormes et la réalité, c'est que les amendes devraient nécessairement faire face à cette réalité. La plus grande faiblesse de ce projet de loi, c'est que ça ne touche pas l'impact des algorithmes. Puis on parle de la haine en ligne, on parle de la désinformation en ligne, aussi la capacité de pousser des gens vers l'auto-infligé, de se blesser. Ça, c'est tous les aspects, quand on parle des algorithmes, qui n'est pas touché par le projet de loi. Mais la réalité, c'est que c'est déposé, l'NPD va continuer de pousser, de travailler avec toutes les parties. On trouve ça important qu'on fasse d'abord de l'amélioration de ce projet de loi et aussi que ça se fait adopter le plus rapidement possible. Tous ces éléments-là sont importants. M. Trudeau a attendu 800 jours avant de déposer le projet de loi. M. Poilievre ne semble pas intéressé du tout dans l'importance de mettre fin à cette Wild West qui se trouve sur l'Internet et qui blesse autant des personnes. Il semble plus préoccupé par le profit des grandes entreprises. Chez l'NPD, on va faire tout dans notre pouvoir, faire en sorte que le projet de loi soit amélioré et adopté le plus rapidement possible. Je vais bientôt répondre aux questions, mais ça va être plutôt des questions en général. Le ministre a eu plusieurs mois de regarder son projet de loi. Pour moi, ça fait juste depuis 2 heures. Alors, on va avoir des choses à dire et des amendements à porter dans les prochaines semaines, mais pour l'instant, je ne pourrai pas commenter dans les détails. Je vais juste le dire en anglais maintenant, désolé. Peter Julian, the public safety critic, and I would like to say to start that Mr. Trudeau promised to table this bill within 100 days of being re-elected in 2021. It has now been 800 days and counting. And the reality is this bill is needed. We heard very moving stories from Jane and Carla today that show the importance of moving to counter online harms. And this is an important first step, particularly the aspects that touch on cracking down on child pornography. The horrors of child pornography is something that the NDP welcomes. The size and scope of the fines are also something that are, I think, an important step forward. The reality is many of the companies online, the giants of the web, have enormous resources, and the fines need to be in keeping with the importance of bringing an end to harms online and bringing an end to the Wild West that we see on the Internet. The reality of this bill is that the biggest weakness is the fact that algorithms are not touched. And algorithms are what delivers the hate online, the disinformation online, and the self-harm online that has affected so many people around the world. And what the NDP will be doing in the coming weeks is working hard to improve the bill and to get passage. Mr. Trudeau has waited more than 800 days to table this legislation. Mr. Poilievre doesn't seem interested at all in moving forward in the legislation. He seems to be more inclined to protect the profits of the web giants. The NDP will be working with all parties and all members of Parliament to get the bill improved and to get it through, because we know that we need to bring an end to the Wild West on the internet and make sure that Canadians are protected from hate, from the scourge of juvenile child pornography, self-harm that is promoted often through algorithms directly to people that are the most vulnerable, and the kind of disinformation that has created so much misery across North America and around the world. So I won't be commenting in detail. I've only had a couple hours to look at the bill. The minister's had a few months, but we'll be welcome to answer any questions of a more general nature about how the NDP intends to teach the bill.
Yeah, no, are you disappointed that there's no obligation to take down hate speech?
I think this is one of the things we'll be looking at in committee and in the debates moving forward. Can we have stronger, in terms of hate speech, can we have stronger provisions in the bill? We'll see. We will be looking at that as part of how we approach the parliamentary hearings.
Est-ce qu'on peut avoir en français par rapport à ça? Qu'est-ce que vous pensez du fait que finalement, si on est victime de messages qui incitent à la haine en ligne, ou on nous cible par des messages, par exemple, qui sont liés au terrorisme, etc., finalement, il n'y a pas d'obligation de retrait en dedans de 24 heures là, pour les plateformes.
Et c'est ça justement que l'NPD va regarder, va étudier dans les prochaines semaines. Le projet de loi doit avoir une portée, doit avoir un impact sur le discours haineux. On sait qu'on a vu la réalité à travers l'Amérique du Nord, dans plusieurs cas où les gens ont été motivés par la haine en ligne et ils ont commis des massacres horribles. Alors pour nous, ça va être une des choses qu'on va étudier. Notre but principal va être de faire en sorte que le projet de loi est amélioré et que ce soit adopté le plus rapidement possible.
Vous parlez des algorithmes, qu'est-ce que vous voulez dire? Est-ce que ça serait un point focal pour vous pour des amendements?
Bien sûr, oui, parce que c'est les algorithmes qui livrent le discours haineux, qui livrent les désinformations, qui livrent aussi cette poussée pour les gens de s'auto-infliger, de se blesser. On a vu ça, j'ai vu ça avec une famille qui a perdu leur fille. Et leur fille a reçu des messages pour s'auto-infliger, se blesser rapidement et constamment pendant des semaines et des semaines. Alors ça, c'est un aspect important qui n'est pas dans le projet de loi pour l'instant et c'est quelque chose sur lequel on va certainement pousser.
Just specifically in English, what are you going to be proposing in the way of how to get at the issue of algorithms?
Well, we already have a bill in front of the House, which is the Algorithm Transparency Act. It's similar to acts that we in other jurisdictions. Senator Ed Markey is the sponsor before the U.S. Congress. The idea is to ensure that there is transparency from the web giants about the algorithms they use. And the reality is, and the web giants don't like this, is that it does create a liability for the companies who are often promoting the most vicious, horrific material. The Stop Hate for Profit campaign in the United States that has been run by the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center have been very, very vocal about this pipeline of hate that comes from the algorithms that social media companies use. And the Center for Countering Digital Hate has talked about malgorithms, algorithms that consciously force people to watch content that is the most horrific, ugly, hateful possible. So the algorithm transparency changes that when you have algorithms that the companies have to be transparent about. It's much more difficult for those companies to have the malgorithms that the Center for Countering Digital Hate has decried.
How much time do you think a bill like this needs in study for a committee? Because at one hand, everyone's saying it's urgent that this happens, but at the other hand, there's a lot of complicated issues, and you want to see changes with it. Others might want to see changes with it.
I think the important thing is all members of Parliament have to be working to get to the bottom of all aspects of the bill to make sure that we are hearing from witnesses that have that expertise across the country, and that we are methodically working through clause-by-clause examination. Now, to do that normally is a process of a few months. What we've seen, particularly sadly from Conservatives, is they want to block the whole process of considering amendments and hearing from witnesses. I hope they will not do that in this case. This bill is too important to be playing around with. We need to make sure that we are getting to the heart of the issue, that we're improving the legislation and getting it out of the House and to the Senate in the course of the next few months. And I would suggest the spring session would be a normal period for the bill to be improved and out of the House of Commons. And if all parties work together, that can be achieved.
What do you make of the decision to increase the penalty for calling for a genocide? The Minister of Varani made reference to that move coming now at a time when we are seeing rising hate in the country, but also an ongoing debate over what actually is a call to genocide and what isn't. And I wonder if you could address that.
In terms of the increased penalties, this is something that we feel is warranted, but you've hit the nail on the head. It's really the definition that is the most important here, and that's part of what the NDP will be looking at through the process of examination, strenuous examination at committee. The committee needs to be working on this, hearing from witnesses, taking that very, very clear and wise process of hearing from the witnesses and then putting together the amendments that are so vital to improve the bill. I hope all members of Parliament will do that, working together.
Just in the process, I know you didn't want to talk in detail, but this process of the new office that will be set up to oversee all of this, Minister Varani said it's not going to be partisan, it'll have to be approved by the House of Commons, this is going to be... Do you trust that? Do you think that that can be done in a way that is nonpartisan?
Can it be done in a way that's not partisan? Absolutely, absolutely. And we see this with other officers of Parliament, and we're going to make sure that the minister keeps to his promise to make sure that there is wide consultation before anybody's appointed. Yeah. Thank you. Merci.